guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video I wanted to take you guys through a full run through of how I would structure my leg day workouts, how I warm up, the activation exercises that I do at the start of my workout, some of the exercises that I do in my main section of my workout, and then also how I cool down and what sort of stretches I do after every single workout. And I thought it would be fun to do a voiceover so I can explain to you guys what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoy today's video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of my videos. Let's get into it. So when I start out all my workouts, I always start out usually on the treadmill, and I usually do about 5 minutes, and then I go into my activation exercises. As you can see here, I'm starting with glute bridges. These are probably one of my favorite activation exercises to do. I have particular struggles with glute activation when I'm doing my leg workouts, so I will always do glute activation exercises specifically. I usually do about 3 sets usually of glute bridges, and then if I fast forward to the glute bridge hold, I usually do that at the end to really make sure that all of my muscles in that area are working correctly. And then I move into this exercise known as clamshells, and basically again this is another glute activation exercise, and I simply again use these to make sure that all the muscles in my glutes are activating correctly, so that when I do all of my deadlifts in particular, that my glutes are actually firing and not my lower back. So that's basically why I use these exercises in my warm-ups. And then I go straight into my main workout, which is we're starting with the leg press. So with the leg press, I usually start off on a lighter weight, and I always use a resistance band. As you can see here, I struggle with a little bit of weakening in the knees, and basically with this exercise you want your knees tracking over your toes so that they're above your toes. They're not buckling in or swaying out or anything like that, so you want them directly over your toes. Basically how that resistance band works is it simply provides some resistance so that your knees are going into the right position. And you can see here I have about 60 kilos as a starting weight for me with this exercise, and I'll usually do a couple of sets on the 60 kilos and then I'll push the weight up once my muscles are a little bit more warmed up. Here we've just changed the angle, and again this is the one with the 60 kilos. I'll usually do about 4 or 5 sets of the leg press just because I really enjoy them. In terms of the equestrian application of this exercise, it is again kind of I've spoken about with squats being a similar movement to rising trot. Leg press kind of emulates that movement as well. It's very much the up and down movement of your legs when you're in the stirrups and sitting up doing rise trot in the saddle. It's the same kind of similar movements, similar muscle groups that you're using, so that's why I incorporate leg press into my workout. But I love the leg press so much, I highly recommend it. In this clip as well you see me without the resistance band, and that's just me practicing without it so that I can maintain my form. Moving on, next up I've used a kettlebell, but you can easily use a dumbbell or whatever equipment you want to use, but I've used a kettlebell because I only have one arm at the moment, and I'm just doing some squats, similar kind of form that you want to do with your leg press. You drive up with your heels, so I'll usually do about 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps depending on the weight. I did about 12 reps with this particular weight, and then I move straight into my deadlifts, which again I've used the exact same weight there, and basically similar thing. You want to bend at the hips, not at the knees, and basically just have the weight go straight down along that kind of front line of your shins, and then just driving through your glutes and hamstrings into that push at the end of the rep. I really like deadlifts. I think they're really good. They're one of the best exercises for glute development, and also in terms of equestrian application. Whenever we're in the saddle, you'd be surprised by how many times we'd actually have to squeeze our glutes to maintain balance, etc, etc. So to have this exercise incorporated in the workout is extremely beneficial for us, because that way we know if there's one minor thing that we can change. You know, when we're riding our horses, one tiny little movement of a muscle can be can make a huge difference in the way things are going. So that's why deadlifts can be really good for that. And then unfortunately, because the gym began to get a bit busier, I didn't really get to film the rest of it, but I will try and get that next time. As you can see, I've just moved on to the bike to finish off. I would usually use the cross trainer, but this was available, so I do about 5-10 minutes on that and then move into my stretches. My first one that I'm doing is the pigeon pose. This one's really good, I found, for glutes and also go for hip flexors, and I do it on both sides so that I'm nice and even for the same amount of time. And then I go into just my usual stretching. So I'll do my kneeling hip flexor stretch because I get really, really tight through my hip flexors. I also do this frog type posed stretch because it's really, really good, particularly for equestrians. It opens up the hips. It helps relax all the muscles along your inner thighs and your hamstrings as well. And so this is a really good stretch for equestrians. And then I like to stretch my back as well because I get really tight through my lower back. So that's a stretch that I like to include. And then to finish off, I'm just stretching my neck. But I hope you enjoyed today's video, and like I said before, if you want to see more of these, let me know. I would be happy to do all of my different splits and go through them like this. So I hope you all have had a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you in the next one.